Bum, ba bum, bum, bum. What's up, y'all? Philyfli Show checking in, kicking in Right Way Production Studios. And we have a UFC fight night on our hands. 2 more weeks, so we get pay-per-view UFC 298. And that, honestly, I keep waiting for that pay-per-view because it's finally going to see the end, or going to see Ilia Topuria and Volkanovski finally duel off and see if Volk still got it in him after getting knocked out in his last fight. But on UFC Fight Night here, we got Roman Dolidze versus Nassordine Imavov. Now, big welterweight fight here. And Nassordine did take an L in his last fight, he took a no contest. His last real fight that didn't go no contest was an L against Sean Strickland, who we know is champion now, but that was still a really, really close fight. So Nassordine and Dolidze will be a very fun fight. Now, this whole card here right now, we got a couple up and comers. We got people that you might know like Molly McCann. Do have Randy Brown on here and Renee Moicano and Drew Dober, who I think Drew Dober owns UFC lightweight knockouts most, which is pretty insane for a guy who's never competed for the title. Dude's just got power in his hands, but when he fights the top level competition, comes up very, very short. So we got 13 legs here on this good old UFC fight night. I think this is at pretty sure this is at the Apex. And if you know anything about the Apex, it is a very small octagon compared to the normal one. The normal one's like a 30-foot radius or something. This is like 25-foot radius, or it drops it down 30%, which makes a lot of these guys have to fight a lot closer, which means you sometimes get these phone booth fights. And then it also actually helps grapplers, if you haven't noticed, where they don't have to chase you around the whole cage just to get to your legs or anything. They'll get to your hips real quick. So we're going to start on the heavyweight division here. We match leg number 13, we got Thomas Peterson versus Jamal Portuguese. Now, Jamal has great boxing skill, but Thomas looks like he's got some of that crazy good wrestling that we've seen in the heavyweight division, between like Daniel Cormier and Curtis Blades. He seems like he's got that level there that he can compete with. So we're going to see him have a good shot here in his UFC debut. Thomas is a negative 170 favorite, whereas Jamal's a plus 140 underdog. Look, I'm going Thomas here mainly because Jamal's a boxer, which means he's going to get too close in the smaller octagon, and that just benefits Thomas way more. So I'm going to take the favorite on there and put my money down there. 1 out of 5 though on the confidence, just because it is a heavyweight bout. I usually don't favor heavyweight bouts that much, but when you're making your UFC debut, you're not going to get a very high confidence level from me. All right, match like number 12 here in the lightweight division. We got Landon Quinos versus Markel Merdros. Markel's a negative 135 favorite, whereas Landon Quinos is a plus 115 underdog. Landon fought I can't think of his first name, but Haqparast. Haqparast literally is one of the top 10 lightweights, or could be a top 10 lightweight if they give him a ranking fight. So for him to compete and go to a decision fight with him, I think he's got a little more skill set over Medros, even though they got him as a favorite. I'm going to go Landon here with the plus 115, but I'm not super confident with it. Only 1 out of 5 on my confidence level. He gets his hand raised after the fight. Now, match like number 11 here is a flyweight bout in the female division versus Luana Carolina and Julia Storlenko. Storlenko has been a roller coaster. I mean, so has Luana, but Luana's been knocked out twice by people that, let's just say, she was supposed to beat them. One of the girls is on here, but on this fight card, but Luana's just a roller coaster too. So it was really hard for me to pick. Luana Carolina is a plus 125 underdog, whereas Storlenko is a negative 150 favorite. I'm going the favorite here. I think she rides the roller coaster and keeps going up instead of rolling back down. 3 out of 5 on the confidence level. She gets her hand raised here. Match like number 10 is a featherweight bout. We get Jingyan Lee, and then also a Minnesota native, Blake Builder, is going to be fighting in this fight. Dude, he's got a tough opponent coming up here. Zhang Yang is a negative 155 favorite, whereas Blake's a plus 130 underdog. Here's where Zhang's downfall is. Grapplers, submission specialists who like to throw strikes and get in there. It's exactly the type of fighter Blake Builder is. If he's worked on his gas tank and his striking in this fight at all, this is going to be a big win for him if he can get it. I am literally not doing this just because he's a Minnesota native. I think he's got his Young's kryptonite. Blake Builder with the W there, taking the plus 130, and I'm actually pretty confident at 3 out of 5 that he gets a W. I'm actually going to jump over and probably going to pick a submission, and I'm thinking submission here, big one. If you switch Blake Builder to a submission, he's already plus 130, so to do it with that, I haven't looked at it, but I'm just going to guesstimate at plus 380 minimum is what you're going to pull back on that one. All right, match like number 9, we jump to the welterweight division. We get Themba Gorimbo versus Pete Rodriguez. Pete's a plus 210 underdog. Themba's a negative 260 favorite. Yo, man, the odds makers on this one are giving it to Themba because he's more of a wrestler and Pete's more of a mixed martial artist striker. Yo, man, Pete not mixed martial arts striker. Jiu-jitsu, my bad. Pete, though, all 5 of his last fights end in KO, where it's either him KOing them, and only one of them he took the KO. So for him to have those type of hands and those type of strikes, I think this is a lot closer than what the odds makers say. In fact, it's not even going to be closer. I think Pete Rodriguez gets his hand raised, and I honestly think he gets a knockout here because I don't think Themba's gonna respect his power in those hands. So I'm gonna roll with Pete here in that plus 210 right now. The last time I saw it was already dropped to plus 190. So I think other people are jumping on it like I am because they see that this fight's gonna be a lot closer than what it is. So get on those odds as quick as you can. As of when I wrote this down, it was plus 210, but that was a couple hours ago, and it's already changed. So hop on that one all day. I am only going to say 1 out of 5 on the confidence level just because Themba does have some good grappling skills. So if he does get an early takedown, could be a bad night for Pete, but I don't see that happening. Roll with it all day long. All right, match like number 8 is in the flyweight male division. We get Azat Maksum versus Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson's a plus 210 underdog, whereas Azat's a negative 245 favorite. I'm going to go Azat. Looking at their past fights, Charles Johnson is no slouch in the flyweight division, but I just don't see him getting past Azat's MMA skill set at all. It'll be not a quick fight, but he's going to get the decision win. If it goes to decision, the only way I see Charles winning is a finish. So that's bad on his end. And then we get the featured prelim bout of the night, the strawweight female division fight, Molly McCann versus Diana Belbita. Diana is a plus 210 underdog, negative 260 on Molly. Look, Molly's Molly. She'll take some shots. She'll fight you into a dog fight, and it can end bad for her. But I don't see that happening with Diana here. I feel like Molly gets a big fight here. Big W, and I kind of see a finish for her, but I don't want to predict that one and be wrong. So I ain't going to predict the finish, but I see it, man. I just see it with this fight, but I can't bet on it. If you want to, go for it, but I'm going to take Molly McCann with that negative 261 out of 5 on the confidence so that she gets the W, because Deanna is no slouch, but I still think Molly gets a big win here. All right, we're going to jump into the main card of the evening. It starts in the welterweight division. Gilbert Arena versus Charles Radke. Plus 170 on Charles. Gilbert's a negative 200. I went with Gilbert in the end. I was almost going to flip a coin. Mainly, once I saw that Charles' definition of his MMA game is thug jitsu, okay? Sounds cool, great, hilarious little nickname. But when you're going to do that against a guy who actually has some skill set in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, no. not going to be well for you, I don't think, on this one. I'm going with that negative 200. I think the odds are a little not in his favor. I think this should be more in the 350 range. But, hey, that's me because Charles is good, but, man, Urbina's going to... Gilbert's going to put it on him. 3 out of 5 on the confidence level that Gilbert gets his hand raised after that fight. Match like number 5. Here's a middleweight division fight between... this is one of the harder names to say. Alihab... oh my gosh. Aliyahab Sharev versus Mahmoud Muradov. Okay. Sharev is a negative 150 favorite, whereas Muradov is a plus 125. Both these are good fighters and good up-and-coming prospects, especially in this middleweight division, which is pretty stacked in the top 15 anyways. But both these guys are coming. It's great that they get to face each other. I want to see who the better man is. Ready for it, but I'm going to say Sharev gets the nod here with his negative 150, but I'm only 1 out of 5 on the confidence level there. This is a banger fight. Don't miss. Watch this fight, guys. All right, match like number 4 here is a flyweight female fight. We get Viviane Argiro versus Natalia Silva. Natalia's a negative 370 favorite, whereas Viviane Argiro is a plus 280 underdog. Look, Viviane is a good striker, but she gasses. She doesn't have the power like I thought she was going to bring to this division. Whereas Natalia Silva, she looks like she's got that Taekwondo skill set. Her striking's good. She even brings that little pop and power that you need in the flyweight division for the females. So I see her getting the win. 3 out of 5 on the confidence level that she gets her hand raised after the fight. Match number 3 is a welterweight fight between Randy Brown and Muslim Salikov. Salikov is a plus 230 underdog, whereas Randy Brown's a negative 280 favorite. Look, Randy Brown looks like a guy when you watch him get in the ring. You're like, he is going to knock this dude out. And then you watch him fight, and it's like the lactic acid builds up in his muscle, and he just gasses way too fast. And he's worked on his gas tank, is what he says. He's worked on his conditioning and his healthy eating habits, but it just doesn't seem to always get better. One fight it does, the next fight it doesn't. Randy Brown is a roller coaster with that part, but what he always brings is a fight. And Muslim needs a win here to be staying on the UFC roster. So I think this fight's going to be a huge banger, but I think Randy Brown actually gets a big W here because Muslim's going to be coming forward. And if he comes forward and Randy's throwing, it's not going to be a good night for him. So 3 out of 5 on the confidence level that Randy Brown gets the W there. All right, co-main event of the evening. It's a lightweight fight between Rene Moicano and Drew Dober. Drew Dober plus 155 underdog. Rene Moicano negative 185 favorite. Look, guys, the downfall to who I like in this fight. Okay, Rene Moicano is who I like, but what he does in the first 5 minutes always blows my mind with some people. He'll come out and he swings, but he's a little slow. And then the second round hits and you see this different fighter come out and you're like, every time I'm like, what? Why couldn't you do this in the first round? But he does this almost like a feeling out process. And that's the downfall with those dynamite hands in Drew Dober. But I still think Rene Moicano gets a big W here. My reasoning for that is his length. He can kind of get away from Drew, but he'll be at the end of Drew's punches, which is the scary part. But he's also good at grappling. He's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Drew Dober is a wrestling guy, so if he sees a wrestling spot, he's going to go for a takedown. Whereas Rene Moicano, he can do damage from his back with elbows, and he can get submissions. So with the MMA math here total, you're gonna just hurt yourself trying to think of who you're gonna win. I'm just gonna go with the guy who I think is gonna win, Rene Moicano. Drew Dober, if you want to go bet that side, go for it. Be my guest. I'm not saying it's not gonna hit because he's got dynamite in those hands. Anything can happen. But I think Rene Moicano, if this fight goes a distance, gets the point fight out of there. 1 out of 5 on the confidence level that he gets his hand raised. Then we get to the main event of the evening. This is, I actually think I said at the beginning of this is a welterweight fight. No, it's a middleweight fight. Roman Dolidze, Nassordine Imavov. I'm going Imavov, man. Roman walks forward and wrestles and has the gas tank, but the difference with Imavov is he's got good defense and his hands have the good dynamite. I haven't seen Roman just hit a guy and one punch him, whereas Imavov, I've seen him hurt guys with one punch. So I'm gonna go with the advantage there with my mindset there. But Roman wins. Wouldn't throw me off. This is a good middleweight fight. Don't miss it tomorrow, guys. I think the main event starts at 3 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. And if you didn't listen to me, Imavov, 3 out of 5 on the comments level. He gets a W. All right, no parlays here because just wanted to get a nice show out. Single picks here. We will be here next week for, I'm pretty sure it's Joe Pyfer and name's escaping me, but I got your show next week. I'll get your information for you. And shout out to Right Way Production Studios for always making this happen. And get those bets in, baby. Peace out.